there's one thing that was lacking. None of those businesses in any way helped the client determine what questions they should be asking, how that data should be brought together, and what are you going to do and how are you going to know that you had the impact that you wanted to. And so what was lacking was what I call a context. There was no context. Hi, I'm Dave Seligsohn, and I'm here to tell you all about one of the most meaningful processes, engagements that we have here at Bluewater called decision analytics. Decision analytics is a interactive workshop methodology, consulting engagement, call it what you will, that helps companies very quickly start from key business goals and objectives and drill down to the very decisions that they make around people and the data that supports those decisions, all in an effort to help draw a straight line from what the changes are that they make around their people exactly straight to business impact. Business impact meaning, does it increase revenue? Does it reduce expense? Do we reduce risk? Those are the most important things. And so in that, I want to go back in time a little bit. I want to tell you a little story about how decision analytics was birthed and where it came from. I was actually asked by our business here at Bluewater to go and investigate other companies and technologies in an effort to consider partnering or maybe even acquiring a reporting solution, something that we knew was a gap for a lot of our clients and also something that we didn't offer at the time. As I began to go and spend lots of time investigating these other technologies, and there are so many, I was provided open doors to see the guts, to understand the visualizations, to look at the coding, all kinds of interesting things, big learning experience for me. But I came back with a report that was very different than what was expected by our business. What I came back and said was that while there's these great number of tools and all kinds of ways to take the data and share it with people in the business and provide impact and right understanding of information, there's one thing that was lacking. None of those businesses in any way helped the client determine what questions they should be asking, how that data should be brought together, and what are you going to do and how are you going to know that you had the impact that you wanted to. And so what was lacking was what I call a context. There was no context around the decision point that tells you what data you should have and what order you should have it and who needs to get it. And so I was then tasked with developing a methodology that would help companies quickly define that context and support them in leveraging the technologies that were out there, because just implementing a technology didn't help. So in all of that, the outcome here is the hope that we can accurately and effectively help companies evaluate their current state, uncover hidden gaps, define an optimal future state potentially, but ultimately provide and give and impart confidence in our clients that they're doing the right things and making the right decisions. All right, this led me to one final thought, and then our first video will be finished. And that thought is the idea of molding clay versus sculpting granite. I know you didn't know you were going to art class, but that's what we're doing. In fact, I should have clay or granite here, but unfortunately I don't. Didn't think of that next time. But what I mean by this is most companies out there, they take the little bits of clay or data or information that they have currently. They bring it together through one of those reporting tools I told you about, and they see what it tells them, and they make a decision. They don't consider if they're looking at the right data. They're just looking at the data they have. They don't consider if the data they're looking at is accurate or if it's even viable because of where they find it or how they find it or where it's collected. They just take what they have and bring it together and then produce a report or a dashboard or a chart or a graph or whatever. And I'm saying that that process keeps us in a tight cycle that's never ending, where we look at the stuff we have, we see what it tells us, we make a decision, and then we relook at the stuff we have again, and we go do it over and over again. I want to throw that away. I want to bring a big old piece of granite in. And I want to go, here's the question you're trying to solve for, to answer. Here's the decision point. Let's look at all of the things that are part of this picture. What are all the pieces of data that we should be thinking of, whether we collect it today or not, whether it's in a system or in somebody's file cabinet, whatever it is. And let's start chipping away at the things that aren't needed in order to address that key question so that we're left with only the most important things. And then we can look at, do I trust that data? Is it accurate? Can I find it? And if the answer to any of those things is no, or there's data in this block that I don't even capture today, then I have things I need to do that are really important in order to begin to address the goal and objective in the question that I have. So we're going to talk more about this in future videos. I'm going to break down the process and all these pieces and take you on a journey with me through our decision analytics methodology, client examples and all. But mostly, I hope that it starts to help you to think about the questions you should be asking, and also gives you sort of gives you an imperative to be a little bit more questioning and a little bit less accepting of what is instead of thinking about what should be. I'm Dave Seligsohn again, and my goal is to help you find confidence one piece of data at a time.